I'm Amy, this is The Opinionated Woman, and today I'm kicking it old school. I'm going to do a good old classic Booktube Newbie Tag. I just watched Joel from Fictional Fates do his from like 9 months ago or something, and even though it is like an old faithful, it's really something that'll make it easier for you guys to get to know me. Like if you don't watch my vlogs, I know some people don't like vlogs, and vlogs are long, or my vlogs are long. So this is a way for you to get to know me, Amy. So let's get right into it. Why did you start your YouTube channel? I started it by accident. No, I started watching YouTube in 2016. I didn't find Booktube until later. I didn't know it was a thing. And then I watched Sana from Books and Quills. I think most of you guys will know Sana. And then she did a video recommending other people, and then, you know, it got bigger from there on. So I decided to start my blog that I was going to use for, you know, for work, with just like actual writing articles. One day I realized that I needed to do a kneading video because I used to be based around food, which I'm not anymore. So I realized I needed to do that, and then in turn, I couldn't embed a video into my WordPress on that on the plan that I'm on. So I had to upload it to YouTube, and I was like, well, I have a channel now. Like if I want it to be uploaded, I need to have a header, I need to have all of that kind of stuff. So I was like, well, why not do it? Because back in 2016, I thought about it, but I wasn't confident enough. I didn't have like my own sense of self. Like since then, I've grown a self-esteem, you know, therapy, amazing. So now I have the confidence to put myself out there and to be strong in my convictions, you know, so and to also be able to deal with the hate in a more healthy way than I would have before. So I think now is exactly when I needed to start my booktube at the fresh old age of 30. So yeah, that's why I started my YouTube channel. The next question is, what are some fun and unique things that you bring to Booktube? I think I bring a couple of fun things to YouTube, or a couple of different things to YouTube. I'm bipolar, I have BPD. I also am South African, so even though I am a white South African, I'm a child of two immigrants. My dad is from London, my mom is from Zambia. But I have made it one of my goals for this year to actually start reading more South African fiction, or South African books in general, because as someone who lives here, I barely ever read any actual South African authors, and it wasn't until I read, where is it? It's not accessible for me. Until I read Johannesburg by Fiona Melrose that I realized, oh my word, this is probably the first South African book that I've read since like Filasekund, when I was like really, really young. And that means Fila's child in Afrikaans, by the way. I read it in the English translation because I can't understand Afrikaans. Well, I can't read Afrikaans. But I realized that I really needed to get more into South African work. So I feel like I could put a good spotlight on South African authors, and maybe in turn find some more South African booktubers. I found Pretty Bookish so far. She's killing it. She got featured in a Books and Lala video like recently. Yes, bitch. So she does some really great recommendations. So I just want to become part of that, and you know, maybe meet some people in real life that are like that, because another reason I started my channel is I don't have people around me that read really. So when I'm talking about books, I'm talking at them about books, not like we can't have a back and forth. Except on some rare occasions, I'm counseling one of my friends through the crisis that she is having after reading this big bitch. And the mental chaos that it has put her in, but it doesn't happen very often for me. So yeah, I thought it would be nice to have like a community around this. So yeah, okay. I've answered the third question. What are you most excited about this channel? In my ramblings that I just said now, creating a community, having a chat, being able to talk about books, and have recommendations from people. Why do I love reading? Reading has always been my number one hobby. Ever since I was a little child, I've always been a very solitary child. It sounds strange coming from a family of four. I have four blood-related siblings and five step siblings. But I have always been quite lonely. I went to a school that was Catholic, all girls, very strict, no, no space to express who you are, discover your queerness. I only came out as queer when I was 30, or I came out as bi. I came out as bi when I was 29. I came out as lesbian / queer at 30. So, it's been a ride, and I really struggle to make friends. I have like very hectic social anxiety, so books have always been my escape. They've always been a place for me to go that feels like a nice, a papery hug for me and my little anxious body. And now it has been a vehicle for me to find completely different perspectives of people living all over the world, completely different set of perspectives than I do, whether that be ethnicity, whether it be culture, whether it be country, or identities, completely different, all of that stuff. Like now I can broaden my brain and open my mind to so many different circumstances, and it's enriching. It like fills me up with joy, basically. That's probably a good way to put it. What book series got you into reading? A book series, I can't really, I've always read ever since I was very, very little. But I think the book that I remember being put into my hands by my mother when I was very little it's right here, Bad Girls by Jacqueline Wilson. If you can see, it is grotty. It is like taped up. It's got like, I used to think I was a librarian. I used to arrange my books by author, and I would put these because I loved going to the library. So like it's real busted, but this book is beautiful. Jacqueline Wilson's books are beautiful. They're all about, people who feel like they're the outcast, people who feel like, or whether they've been put into that situation, people that stand out, people that are downtrodden, and now that Jacqueline Wilson's come out publicly, when I found out about that, I cried so hard, because I knew why this and all the rest of her books found its way into my little 9-year-old heart. It's because I could see somebody, my gaydar, I could see somebody that I could relate to, and it made me feel less alone and less weird. Like, I was called the dictionary dog at school because I had a big vocabulary, because I read a lot, and I had pigtails. Wasn't the nicest of nicknames, but it helped me through school, and I could write an essay like that, because of my vocabulary from reading. So yeah, this book is one of the ones that started it all. But I did have the immense privilege of being read to when I was a child, and had a lot of books given to me and sent my way when I was a child. So yeah, from when I was very little. What do you want to ask other booktubers? Will you be my friend? You guys are cool. Please? That's all. What challenges do you think will be hardest to overcome? This little brain. This little noggin right here. And I don't just mean that from a self-doubty kind of way, and negative comments and stuff like that. I mean, obviously, that is a factor. That is a big factor, I think, for anybody who's putting themselves out there online. You are going to get hate, especially since my channel is called The Opinionated Woman for a reason. I have opinions. I have very strong convictions. If you come at me for something like that, this is a safe space. Your comment is getting deleted. Anything hateful is getting deleted. If it's actual criticism, criticism that makes sense, I will engage with you, no problem. If I fuck up, tell me. But if you come here with some transphobia, homophobia bullshit,
that clip back
you can get the fuck out.
And realize that when I was talking about
what I think will be the biggest challenge for me to overcome, I went off on a tangent about dealing with hate and didn't actually get to my point, which was my mental illness. When I say my brain, I mean my mental illness. I mean, I've got a pretty good schedule when it comes to the vlogs that I've been posting, because those are every week. I have missed a couple because of having dog interruptions. Because of having, a bad week, but like I cannot start beating myself up about not uploading enough, or not getting stuff out there as quickly, or not having enough money to buy brand new books to always be on it. I am going to struggle to keep up a super strict routine. I'm not one of these people who can do like, okay, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I mean, I generally post blogs on a Wednesday, but that'll be like if I've got one scheduled. I won't always be able to produce on the regular because my life is like this. Bipolar is a huge part of my life, and if you want to know more about it, next week it's Bipolar Awareness Day. I am making content the whole day on all my platforms, Instagram, TikTok, my blog, and here, all about Bipolar Awareness Day. And yeah, that'll give you more of an overview sort of what it's like for a bipolar person, and a lot of resources for you to be able to look it up for yourself. But yeah, it's going to be knowing when to give my brain a break, and knowing when I need to be like, get into line, like it's a very hard thing to be able to battle. So yeah, that'll be my hardest challenge. Baxter pass me. When did you start reading? From the womb. I started reading as soon as I could. I was that kid, did all of their reading homework. As I said, I had my parents reading to me all the time. At that time, there was no Audible, there was no script. God, I'm showing my age. We had cassette tapes. They weren't very widely available here, but my dad is from London, and he would go to the BBC shop or HMV, and he would buy, like, I had the whole Harry Potter series, like, in these big chunky boxes of cassette tapes. This is probably a good point. Yeah, it is a good point for me to, now that I mentioned the Harry Potter series, it's a good point for me to point out, especially in the newbie tag, that I have this tattoo. Yes, this is a Harry Potter tattoo. I got this before J.K. Rowling really full on showed her turf colors, and I know this might pop up in my vlogs and stuff like that every now and again. You might get a glimpse of it. I don't want you to think that this is me showing support for her. It's not. I do not even mention her name on this channel. I don't mention her books on this channel anymore. I have them. They have a place in my heart for me growing up, and another thing that made me feel less, alone and strange as a child. But I do not support her in any way. No trademark merch. I will never go to Harry Potter World. None of that. I feel like the quote, it helps that she didn't write the quote. Its happiness can be found in the darkest of times if one only remembers to turn on the light. I think that's incredibly important for me as a person with mental illness, like that I have to battle every day. I feel like it's a very important quote, but I don't support her. Because otherwise I would have mentioned that series as part of one of the reasons that I started reading. But yes, we used to listen to cassette tapes as audiobooks all the time, and I was constantly reading when I was a child. The library was my favorite place to go. And my favorite also, we used to watch the movies of the books by She Who Shall Not Be Named, and we used to go to this very specific movie house, and then we used to go afterwards to this bookshop that was in the same mall, and we would get told, like, okay, you could go get a book, and then we used to scamper out to find books, and it was the best. And now that I have Booktube, oh my word, now I actually have some kind of direction, because before I would sort of like go and read some blurbs, and I'm sorry, some people who write blurbs, you're bad at it. Because I have like started reading and DNF'd and donated so many of those books, and now that I have Booktube, I have so many different people recommending me books of different styles that I can try out, and I'm really finding what I love to read. So yeah, that has helped me a lot. Where do I read? Okay, I have a very strict morning and evening routine. So every single morning I will wake up, I will come downstairs, I'll make myself a cup of coffee with oat milk or soy milk. I'm not vegan. I just have made the switch over to plant-based milks because I prefer them. And when the weather's great, I will sit outside. I'll get my vitamin D, get the nature all up in here. And I'll read for as long as it takes me to finish my cup of coffee. And then I'll get along with my day. During the day, either me sitting outside, or if I'm cooking dinner or doing the dishes, any kind of chores, I'll have my audiobook in my ears, which counts as reading. And if you think it doesn't, fight me. And then in the evenings, I will take my medication. Ooh, lucky there's no boobage for me to flash it. I will take my medication. I'll put on an ambiance, maybe a scented candle if I'm feeling frisky, and I will read for 45 minutes to an hour until one of my meds that puts me into gentle slumber. So yeah, that's why I read. And then what kind of books do I like? I've sort of already answered this. I mean, just looking at these few shelves here, I read everything. It would probably be easier for me to say the types of books that I don't tend to read than the types that I do. I'm not a huge fan of hard sci-fi. I'm not really a historical romance person either. Not too much. I like books with romance in them, for sure. No, I do read romance books. But like Red, White, and Royal Blue, that was a good one. That kind of thing, but not a bodice ripper, Like I love watching people vlog reading stuff like that, but I personally don't enjoy reading it myself. But I mean, yeah, read whatever the hell you want to read. But like, I have literary fiction here. I have fantasy. I love speculative fiction. I like middle grade. I like YA. I like historicals, everything. I read absolutely anything. Non-fiction. I just recently, this is a bit of a sneaky one, but I just recently got this. So I do like reading me some graphic novels when I get the opportunity. That was a really great price. So yeah, I will read just about any genre that you can throw at me, just about anything. I will give it a go. So yeah, that is all the questions. So in the meantime, please follow my socials at The Opinionated Woman. Like, subscribe, do all of that fun stuff. Be kind to people, be kind to yourself, wear a mask, and I'll see you next time.